Welcome to the Sweet Hometowns podcast. Today we will be visiting with Roy Stoves. Roy is the Executive Director of the 4th Avenue Historic Business District in Birmingham. We'll be right back. So we are excited today to have Roy Stoves from the historic 4th Avenue Business District in Birmingham with us. And it just happens to be the 100 years since the first Black Historic Month. So it came out in 1906,
26.
Right? 26.
1926.
He's going to help me out.
Right.
So I want to tell you a little bit about the historic 4th Avenue Business District, and then we'll have Roy introduce himself, and we'll get into our questions. So the historic 4th Avenue Business District in downtown Birmingham remains one of the few surviving Black business districts in the Southeast. It is still operating with a majority Black-owned business ecosystem and property ownership. During the first half of the 20th century, the vibrant community flourished with quality-of-life businesses, including a Masonic temple with a library, soda fountain, a ballroom that hosted performances by Duke Ellington and Count Basie, among others. Today, the district is home to a variety of local businesses, historical sites, and nonprofit organizations. With landmark institutions such as the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute and the Carver Theater, Ford 4th Avenue captures the essence of one of America's cultural hubs that everyone should experience. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a background on what 4th Avenue is historically, but it's important for you to tell us about you. So introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and then I'll start asking you some questions.
Well, Mary, my name again, Roy Stoves. 30 years I have been practicing architectural design, and I grew up in Birmingham. The school that I came through was historically Carver High School, and from there I went to Jacksonville State and then ended up at Sanford. But been working in the district for almost the same amount of time that I've been practicing. There are several of the facilities in the district that I have worked on in the past, such as the Carver Theater, Civil Rights Institute. I've done work along the storefronts of the 4th Avenue district. So when I went away to work at another firm in Atlanta, I got a call from Ivan Holloway, which is our executive director of the Urban Impact, and shared with me that there was an opportunity for me to come back to Birmingham. And after thinking about it, and my wife, Persia, saying that I need to be home because I was commuting over on Mondays, coming back on Thursdays, she mentioned that you need to be home. Yeah. And so that opportunity came available, and we saw where lots of the work that I had done in the past was there in the district.
Great.
And so that was a great opportunity to come back.
So how long have you been back as director of the 4th Avenue?
That's 3 years.
3 years,
well,
okay.
I'm going into the third year.
Into your third year.
And so in August will be my third year.
Great. We haven't killed him yet, so
Yes.
It's been fun to work with Roy.
You know,
We've stressed him out from time to time.
Well, initially when I came in, and it was funny, I came in thinking that I can kick my heels up and just relax and go into retirement. And little did I know, this is work.
That is not what Main Street is all about.
It is work.
You can kick your heels up, but you got to work while you're kicking.
You are working, so thank you.
It's all good. Yeah, the 4th Avenue Business District, I believe, came on in 2019 as a neighborhood commercial district within Birmingham. So we talked before about how do you do a great big city like Birmingham with Main Street? Well, you do neighborhoods, and it's a very distinct personality in Birmingham for sure. So I want to visit with you because it is Black History Month, and want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of that district as it relates to this particular month. So can I ask you a couple of questions on that?
Sure, most definitely.
All right. So first question, if someone knew nothing about 4th Ave, what's the one thing that you would want them to understand?
Well, one thing I would love for everyone to understand about the 4th Avenue district is that it is a living proof of Black resiliency, ownership as well as excellence. In this community, we have seen the works of and service of doctors, lawyers, other entrepreneurs that have taken place in this space. Not only has it been a historical street, but it's more than just that. It allows us to see some of the remaining what we call it, it is one of the few remaining. I'm going to say one of the last, but it's one of the few remaining black business district in America. And at one time, it was considered a Black Wall Street. So knowing that it was that kind of activity taking place in the district, and it has survived over the years since its existence of Birmingham, that is something that I think is very important that anyone that stepped into that space start feeling that kind of presence.
Yeah, my sister is a history teacher, and she came and visited Birmingham several times while I've been here. I've been here almost 14 years now. And I remember her talking about going through that district and what it meant, going from the 16th Street Baptist Church to the Civil Rights Institute, to looking at the Masonic Temple, which is amazing, still keeping our fingers crossed on a renovation project there.
So also we.
Carver Theater being back open. It's such a neat area, plus a greenway space in there too. So it's lovely, and she was just blown away by knowing that this is still happening within her lifetime. Kind of the generational things, and there's people who can tell her the stories of what was happening there.
Correct.
Really, really interesting stuff. So let's move to the second question. What role did institutions like the Masonic Temple play in the social and cultural life of Black Birmingham?
There's several landmarks that was in the district, and the Masonic Temple is just one.
Yes.
Although the role that it plays is very important to all of the work that was done in the historical Fourth Avenue district. We also had a opportunity to see the Pendleton Temple, which is one of the first that was constructed by designed by a Black architect, which was the second certified Black architect. Construction company that was also Black, and a Black owner, which was the bank, which became one of the largest Black bank in the nation, again, in Birmingham. And that facility is still standing. So just to know that it was built in 1913, that's just one landmark. And it housed as well professionals as well as organizations. But when Masonic Temple came along, that was a different breed. It allowed us to have an event space that was over 200,000 seating included in that space. It also was designed by the first African American Black architect, which is Taylor. And it was also constructed by a Black contractor and Black owners again. So those two facilities.
When did that one open?
That was 1924, between 22 and 24.
And how many stories is that?
It's about 6 stories. And
I've been through it, but I don't know that.
It had Corinthian columns. They had all the limestone and facade, and so it had all of the dressing that showed excellence. And so on the interior space, even so in there, just the documentation that has been shown why it's not been vacant. Why it's vacant is been a sighting as well to see how that space was occupied with doctors again. And it became basically a cultural hub for the district. So.
Yeah, because it looked like it had a library and a soda fountain, the ballroom. I mean,
It had quite a bit. Now, a little bit of history. The library was the second location in this place, which they were thinking that was the first location. We purchased a location on 3rd Avenue that was the first location for that library.
And that's where your project is?
Yes, that's what our project is. So it moved from that location to the Masonic Temple when it was finished construction. So that's where the second location was, but it's still been noted as the first location for that library.
Well, since you brought up your project, let's talk a little bit about your project.
Well, there's a lot of passion there.
There's a lot of passion.
And also we spend a lot of energy on this project. It's a culinary training kitchen facility. We purchased this facility back in 24. One thing that of a mission of urban impact is now that we need to be a little bit more sustainable with the climate that we're in. Finding funding for what we do is kind of awkward and hard. I won't say hard, but it's beginning to be challenging. And so we're looking at other ways to sustain our work. And through this endeavor, we see an opportunity to do so, as well as do what we always have been doing, and that is to train individuals how to do their work that they love and the passion that they have for food industry, as well as young entrepreneurs that want to just to have a food truck or just to understand
and to learn how to do it. Yeah.
And then we give them a facility, a professional facility that they can come in, cook, and do their work. And also, they can do podcasts as we are doing now.
Yeah.
And there's some educational component attached to it as well.
Well, it's very cool, and we're proud to play just a little small part.
Oh,
but
you're
this
playing a major role
This is a
there.
very big project,
Yes,
and
it
we were
is.
able to give a Main Street Alabama grant to that project. So
Correct.
I've walked through the building, and your vision is there. And I think anybody who gets excited about Main Street, and especially being an architect on top of it, years and years ago I realized I don't see the bad stuff. What I see is the potential in a building.
That's
And
for
walking
sure.
through that one is like, oh my gosh,
It's the
this could be
presence.
so cool.
That presence is awesome in that space. And when you can feel how it was once used.
Oh, yeah, and how easily you can pull it together and have in the courtyard in the back. Yeah,
And that's the whole district.
yeah,
So.
very neat, very neat. All right, back to the questions.
Okay.
That was an aside, but I
Well, that's
I
a
had
good
just written
side
it
note.
down. I had
That's
just
a good
written it
side
down.
note.
So, third question, which lesser-known individuals or businesses from Fourth Avenue deserve more recognition during Black History Month?
Wow. Not thinking about it, I could go with Arthur Shores. He was a very important individual. Matter of fact, one of the buildings that I worked on and restored is the Arthur Shores Law Center. But I think one that I would definitely love to talk about would be Oscar Adams. He was the first African-American Supreme Justice in Birmingham, in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So Oscar Adams Jr. was he was elected, statewide elected, was the first to be statewide elected in that position. And so his presence, I would think, would have been one of the biggest, although I'm kind of cross between those two as far as not being, well recognized for the work that they done and the pioneers that they were.
Great, great. So let's talk a little bit about the civil rights movement and what occurred during that time in the district. It's not one of your written down questions, but I
Okay.
know you know this stuff. That is the district where people were hit with fire hoses and dogs and all kinds of stuff. Do you want to relate a little bit on that?
I can talk about it. It's not my favorite era, although I was growing up during that time.
Certainly impacted the world.
But I always, because of that event, our district became more and more recognized. As a matter of fact, because of that, it's a national monument now. But even before that time, what made that site more of a presence and important is because the important it was to us and how we used that space, all of the Fourth Avenue Business District. It was more a sacred ground for a space that we could utilize, and we felt at home with our business, with our work. Everything we did was in that space. So civil rights activity took place because you could go and have these conferences. You could bring the individuals in and strategize on what's next and how to move forward with the next course of action. And the events that occurred because of that was because it was one that you could reach into a neighborhood and remove that sacredness that you thought that you were safe in.
Wow.
And you could bring that uncertainty back into the picture. And I think a lot of that was strategically done. The bombings, the 16th Street Church, the actual coming into the space and bringing the dogs in with the pressure hose and everything else, that this space is not safe as you think it is. So I think it was part of a psychological thing as well, to break the individuals from thinking that you are safe from anything in this space. And it once was considered that. And when my parents and their parents went into that space, it was somewhere that they wore their Sunday best. They went into there with knowing that they were going somewhere, and they was proud to be there. They was going for that services and the goods that they was able to collect. And we were self-sustained in the community, but to go into downtown Fourth Avenue, that was a different type of space.
You can definitely feel, because it's right on if you've never been there, it's right on the edge of what the financial district where the skyscraper buildings and all those things are at. But it really feels you're walking into a different place. It has its own own feel, its own personality, its own presence.
Correct.
I think still today, and that's a testimony to all the folks that were there during that time and the ones who continue to work with it today, because you really can. It's just a really wonderful place to go check out and understand this changed the world. This place right here changed the world, I think.
This
amazing.
space was very important in that change because of what was seen with the bombing on 16th Street. I think everyone realized the significance of the movement. And that movement was definitely exploded, I hate to use that term, across the politics and the political arena, that they were able to see firsthand the damages that was being applied to individuals for no reason.
So the places on the register within your district are?
There's 18, what's the word I want to use? Conditional spaces. I don't think that's a proper word.
Okay.
There's another term for it. But there's 18 landmark facilities in the district.
Wow.
And to name them all, it would take some time.
Well, I know that one's part of the national park system. Is that the?
That's the A.G. Gaston Motel,
Okay.
as well as the Civil Rights Institute, as well as 16th Street Baptist Church, as
It's
well
all-
as St. Paul,
all-
that whole area.
All very walkable and easy to get to.
It
Okay.
is along the park, and
Okay.
it's along Fifth Avenue and 16th Street. So that is an area that we have tourism. And actually, it became one of the largest tourist site, I think last year. That we have more
Really?
tourists there than anywhere else in Alabama.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I
Well,
thought
I know
that was
that
encouraging.
when we hosted the National Main Streets Conference in 2024, the coordinators, my level of Main Streeters across the United States all came in a couple of days early.
Right.
And that was the tour we did. We did the tour of your
Okay.
district
Okay.
with the coordinators, and it was such a moment for some of them who just weren't involved in any of this kind of stuff. It's really very interesting. So thank you again for being a great host for us during that. That was awesome. So let's get back on track with our
Okay.
questions. What efforts today are helping to preserve or revitalize the Fourth Ave district? What are the things you're working on?
Mayor, we have quite a bit going on, and that's the reason why I thought I can kick my heels up and find I was totally different. One major project that I know that is taking shape is in design now is the Crossroad project. We had a large amount that was dedicated to reconnection. I'll just use that term.
Big transportation project.
Transportation project, but it was a reconnection more so to the community that was, and I used the word red line from our district, the Fourth Avenue Business District. We had a lot of support from neighborhoods that was surrounding the Fourth Avenue District, Smithfield, Fountain Heights, Druid Hill, as well as Norwood. All those had a input into the development of the Fourth Avenue District. Norwood slightly, but still is a connection there. But the interstate system came straight through those communities, which is individuals don't realize that Fourth Avenue is part of Fountain Heights community.
Yes.
Because the interstate divide the commerce area from the residential area. There's a line that is drawn that's
Which
saying
was
that this is
intentional.
Fountain Heights versus others that didn't know that the commerce area is part of Fountain Heights. So we're always trying to share with others that this is Fountain Heights neighborhood, and lots of individuals don't see it. But getting back to the projects, one of the projects, a reconnection project, is $21+ million. That is going to be an urban trail coming through from Legion Field down through Smithfield into the Fourth Avenue District, which would make a right turn going south on 16th Street, which is 16th Street is supposed to be a freedom walk, which is connected itself from City Walk over to Railroad Park. So,
we were just at Railroad Park this morning having coffee.
So there's several connect points that's going to be along that trail. And then it turned down Fourth Avenue that would allow us to do some of the infrastructure improvement that is needed in the district. And that allows us to venture with some of the devices, streetscapes that we're looking to provide, maybe seating, more planning, greenway, bike trails, parking, reduce parking, reverse the two-way streets to one-way streets so we can get a softer traffic, and so we can calm traffic down in there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of intersections that we have quite a bit of accidents on, so
Yeah,
this is an attempt
it's
to reduce that as well.
definitely a busy thoroughfare. And when you have a one-way street that's 3 lanes wide, it's going to be fast, no matter how hard you try to keep it slow.
We're trying to beat the
yeah.
traffic light, and it was
Yep.
intentional for an individual that needed to go home,
Yeah.
to travel through. So, and we want to soften that. We want the storefronts to be observed.
Absolutely.
And
You know, I say it all the time when people are talking about, you know, how do you make a district more profitable? Well, you need to slow the cars down because the cars don't have wallets, but
Person to
people
get
do,
out
and
and
you
walk. We
got to
want
get
to
them out of
walk
the
it.
car so they can see what you have instead
most
of
definitely.
flying through as fast as you can to the next spot.
if we
So-
can get you to park, we are doing our job. So.
And I'm glad that the Birmingham Department of Transportation is working so well with you guys.
Oh,
So
they are person.
give them a big
They are
old
great.
shout out, big
Oh,
old
man,
thumbs
they
up.
are a great partner, and Collins and Christina, they're doing a great
yeah.
job.
Yeah, they're great to work with. So excited about that. What do you hope that visitors feel when they walk through these streets today?
Well, I mentioned a couple words already, terms. One is a presence. When you step into that space, you should feel the importance of the space. You should feel the history that once stepped in that same space, who steps are there before you. You know, what was that space? You know, why was it created? And so I think that presence is great to know all the individuals that have already walked that space before you. Also,
It's still the sense of pride that you see in the district today.
See, you're going to the second term, and
Yeah.
it's pride. And so that's another thing I want you to gain. I'm always talking to our stakeholders in the district about pride and building that up. Where is it? I mentioned earlier how my parents came to that space, the pride that they had when they came down there. They didn't come there just dressed in their regular daily clothes. They felt like they needed to put on the Sunday best
Wow.
to go to that space.
Because it was a special place.
It was a special place. So that pride has not been rejuvenated in the space yet. So we're looking at how to restore that. And maybe through storytelling in some other areas. And there's generations that we feel that has missed that mark and understood, and we miss opportunity to share that information, you know, that we would learn, that was taught to us. So that's really one of the biggest reasons Black history is important, you know. And I can go back to Dr. Woodson when he started it. It was a week initially. It was called the Negro History Week.
Wow.
And it started on 2 important birthdays. And that was Abraham Lincoln, and who's the second one? Gosh, I can't think of his name on the 14th. But anyway, those 2 days was very important, and I want to think that it was Frederick Douglass. I'm sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, he was on
See,
the 14th.
I don't know, I'm not helping
yes,
you.
Yes, no, it just slipped me. But those 2 days in that week was on the 12th, and Lincoln was on the 12th, and he was on the 14th.
Oh, so it was intentionally
It was
put
intentionally
at that time.
put on that
Okay.
day because of the importance of those two to Black America.
Okay.
And so it started there, and then in 82 or so, it was made a month. And I think that was, maybe not 82. I got my
I don't know what it
dates
says
wrong.
in my notes, but
But it maybe not 82, but it was a time when one of the presidents decided that we'll make it a month. And so going back to the significance of this space and why it was important, the history we try to tell and the words that we use to describe the space in the way that we want you to feel when you leave it, it's important that pride is begin to resonate as you come into that space. We want you to be able to say, I stood on the same grounds that Martin Luther King may have walked, or some other musician that had once performed at the Masonic Temple, or an artist that has produced work. Angela Davis, her father, operated in this space. So it's just so much history that is there that if you dig deep and start telling those stories, I think not only our community, but the Birmingham could really see the jewel of the space that it
absolutely.
is. And I think it's kind of missed I think there's opportunity for it. Like my son Temple, it should not be in this in the state that it's in. And for me, it is heartbreaking, but somewhere down the line, we're going to see it. We're going to see the importance.
It'll happen. Well, it's making sure on your storytelling that we tug at the heartstrings and have people really think about what this area means. I know even as a kid growing up in a town of 4,000 people, when I think of home, other than thinking of my mom and dad and 11 brothers and sisters and the farm, it was the downtown that I think of, and the high school, of course, and the grade school that I went to. But it's not the highway stuff. It's walking around the square and seeing the things, and that's where Mom took us to get shoes, or this is where we got groceries, or this is where the homecoming parade. All of those things is tugging at the heartstring. So I'm really happy that we're going to be able to work with you guys to provide branding.
Well,
coming up, I think it's in June.
It is June.
In June.
I think we scheduled for the 9th and 11th.
I
Somewhere
believe.
along those times. I'm trying to hold a date in my head.
It hasn't popped up on my phone quite yet. But
I'm pretty sure Jennifer's going to remind me. It will remind me.
It'll come up.
But Isaiah does have the information, and Sam. So
it's exciting. So we really need to, some of the things we've been talking about, we need to make sure happen to come to the forefront in that branding, so we can help you with the storytelling, we can help you with the graphics, we can help you with the brand statement, all those things that tie back to that. So I can't wait. This timing is perfect.
I think it's important
for us too.
Yes.
So, well, great. Well, Roy, you did awesome.
Well, thank you. I don't feel like, but that's okay.
We just had a conversation.
You made me feel so calm here, and it was just great information. And thanks for allowing me to share a little bit of Black history on what the community means to me as well as to some of the others. And just, hopefully that we begin to galvanize as a community and begin to see the importance and develop this space as I think it should be, so that it could be the vibrant space that it once was, and bring back that same type of glory and pride that we once had. So I'm looking forward to all the work that we're doing to regenerate that moment. Hopefully I'm here to see it. But you're not kicking your heels up. You got a little time on that. There's always been that bridge building poem that I always enjoy, that the gray head band said is not for him, it's for those who come after him to walk that path. So hopefully that's the work that I'm doing. That's the individual behind me will be able to see that work and enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Wow.
So
in closing, you can see why we love Roy. He's amazing and such a wonderful, heartfelt person with just so much love for his district and so much talent. So be looking at the 4th Avenue Historic District, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Have a great day. If you have questions that you would like to pose to us on maybe future episodes of the Sweet Hometowns podcast, just send those to info@mainstreetalabama.org.
You can learn more about Main Street Alabama and the Sweet Hometowns Initiative at sweethometowns.com, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates and episode highlights.
The Sweet Hometowns podcast is a production of Main Street Alabama in partnership with Video Visions Media Marketing.